It's 8 o'clock, and when it's 8 o'clock, we are ready for Selihot. Tonight, every night is special, but tonight is even more special because Roanne Pitluk is going to be teaching us about letter Mem. But as we go into that, I want to do what we always do, to go back to Adona Selihot. You probably can see it right there in your screen. And we are beginning with a new line, a beautiful line that says, Male Zachiot. Male Zachiot, that is full of merit, that God is full of merit. And we remember that as God is full of merit, we want to think that so are we. And we strive for that. So if you remember the refrain, Chatanu lefanecha rachem alenu, Chatanu lefanecha rachem alenu, Male zachiot nora tehilot, Solech abonot, One be'et tzarot, Chatanu lefanecha rachem alenu, Chatanu lefanecha rachem alenu. And so, as we are entering this night of Selichot, where we're honoring letter Mem, I want to tell you a little bit about our featured guest, our presenter tonight. Roanne Pitluk is an active member of Shirat HaNefesh congregation and participates with her choir Kolot Halev, Jewish community choir of the Greater Washington area. She is married to somebody that you know, that's me, and has 2 grown children and 4 grandchildren that fortunately are going to be with us for Rosh Hashanah, so I love it. And Roanne understands very well the idea of Cheshbon HaNefesh, of the accounting of the soul that we experience during Selichot, because Roanne has an accounting practice in Silver Spring, Maryland. And now, without further ado, I'm going to spotlight Roanne for everyone so they can hear the beautiful, beautiful things you have to share with us tonight. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm really delighted to be here and delighted to be in the line of people who have been making presentations every evening. It's been fascinating, actually. So now we're up to Mem, the 13th letter of the alphabet. It's a letter of water. It symbolizes the fountain of the divine wisdom of the Torah. You might think of some names that have Mem, Moshe, Miriam, and maybe objects that are important to you, like a menorah. So we're going to take a look at the letter M, and now here's the host disabled participant screen sharing. Is that me? Okay, maybe you can share the M for me.
No. Let's do this.
Okay.
Just a second. Let's see if I can make you. Yes.
Now I can share my screen?
And now you can share.
Now I see it. Okay.
Sorry for that.
Okay, that's all right. So hopefully all of you can see the letter M. It's in orange. Okay, great. And the shape of it. So this is something that I learned from Hebrew Today, a site on the internet. It's amazing what you can find on there. Well, this probably most of us know that Mem has 2 forms. It has a regular form and a final form. We're looking at the regular M right now. We will also, here's the M Sofit, the final form that is closed. But starting with the first one, the regular letter indicates everything that is revealed, everything that we see in creation and understand. It's closed on most of the sides, except for a small opening at the bottom. Am I doing that? Okay, maybe someone needs to mute. I don't know. Hopefully I'm not creating that. Oh, I was thinking of when I move my mouse. Okay, and anyway, there's on the left side a little point that is pointing upwards towards the heavens. And this piece, the open part on the bottom, indicate the combination of heaven and earth. And it allows us to understand the physical aspects of creation. I mean, is there something else going on?
I think somebody needs to mute.
Okay.
That's what it is.
All right.
But I can't do it.
Take a look at that. The final mem is closed on 4 sides, symbolizing the parts of creation that we cannot understand. I also thought this was interesting, and certainly Judy and Evelyn will recognize this, and also recognize that my camera is not nearly as good as theirs. And I couldn't seem to capture the whole thing. I have a poster from the Israel Museum in Jerusalem. I actually got it in Toronto at the Dead Sea Scrolls exhibit. And you can see at the very top is kind of the mem as we know it today. Okay, just going back until sort of the beginning of history or written history that we can find, back to 1500 BCE, here is the first mem that has been identified, and it's changed over the centuries. It's kind of interesting to me that it looks a little wavy, maybe like some waves of water. There may be other images that come to mind when you look at it. And you see it sort of horizontal, and then it flipped somewhere around the 13th and 12th century BCE, and became more vertical. I only captured those few changes, but it just kept changing until it came to look like the letter that we know today. I'd also like to go on to some words that involve mem and that are important words. One of the names of God is Makom, which literally means place. Here it is up here. The name expresses the presence of God in every place. And it's interesting that the first letter is an M, and the last letter is also an M in its final form. And then you can see in the middle, it's kind of odd the way I put this together, but anyway, here's the first M and then the final M. The word in the middle, kav, here, also means line, and kind of relates to what I mentioned at the beginning, that it's a line between the known world and the hidden, meaning the known that has the open M and the closed over here, which is more of a mystery to us and unknown. Also, another word that starts and ends with M is mayim. That's at the bottom. We're going to get to that in a minute. And I'm going to progress to the middle one, emet. That means truth. The word starts with the first letter of the alphabet, the aleph, and ends with the last letter, taf. Refers to all existence and the truth in it. In the middle of the word is the letter M, which connects between the different worlds of creation mentioned earlier. So when we come down to mayim, also, you see it has a mem, regular mem in the beginning and the mem sofit of the closed M at the end. In the story of creation, the text mentions that God separated the waters above the firmament and below it. The first mem represents the waters above the firmament, shemayim, heavens, and the second mem, the waters below the firmament. Stop the share for a minute so I can see everybody. And I wanted to just talk a little bit more about the letter and the numerical value. The numerical value is 40. It represents ripeness and maturity. And we see this in many important places. 40 days after conception, according to Jewish tradition, a fetus begins to take on a human form. It reminds us at the time of Selihot that Moshe, our teacher, ascended to Mount Sinai to receive the Torah and stayed there for 40 days and 40 nights. And following the trend, we enter the period of Selihot on Rosh Chodesh, Elul, and conclude on Yom Kippur for 40 days later. Also, the ideal full life of a person is 120 years based on the life of Moses. It splits into 3 segments of 40 years each, and each is a different part of a person's life. The rains of the great flood lasted for 40 days. Jonah, the prophet, told the people of Nineveh that they had 40 days to repent. Jonah's book is read on Yom Kippur afternoon. The children of Israel wandered in the desert for 40 years, the amount of time they needed to free themselves from the slave mentality and become an independent, free nation. When I learned that I was going to be talking about mem, one of the things I immediately associated with, like Karen when she first came on, is mayim. That I just thought of water, and it definitely fitting for this letter and for today, going from biblical times until now. Water is critical, and we see this even more, unfortunately, with global warming, how many places need it, and then how many places have too much of it. I read a really interesting book. Let me share the screen so you can at least see the cover of it. Okay. I don't know if any of you have read, Let There Be Water by Seth Siegel. I've got it. And if you want to borrow it, feel free. It was just a fascinating view of water from the time of Theodore Herzl and to what Israel has done now with water and how amazing and efficient they are. And an important theme you may be aware of is that the Zionist leadership needed to show that Israel had great water potential, because the British were starting to limit, before the end, well, I guess in the late 30s, they wanted to limit Jewish immigration to Palestine because there were a lot of Arab protests. And the reason they said, well, we can't have that many more people immigrating is because of water. So it was important to develop water and show that it was all right to bring people to Israel, that there would be enough water. Ben Gurion knew this too. He wanted to make the desert bloom, and he realized how important it was to have water to make that happen. The book talks about the National Water Carrier Project and all the technological developments with drip irrigation and reverse osmosis, and salvaging all kinds of reclaiming, like dirty water, sludge, for crops and other purposes to help feed Israel. And they also share this knowledge with Africa, the United States, all around the world, teaching people how to make use of water in an efficient way, so that their societies are better too. So then I was also thinking about water and about a dance and a song. I'm going to stop this for a second, so I can see you, that I learned when I was in summer camp, and maybe you all know it. It's called Mayim, Mayim. It's a very popular song that was developed in the late 30s. There was a kibbutz that had very little water, and they had drilled so many holes, and they couldn't find water. When they finally did, they just kind of burst out dancing, and somebody choreographed a dance that kind of took root. And because water is so important, it became a popular dance in Israel, and I guess for Jewish people around the world. So now I am going to share a little bit of, this is, the kibbutz where they were drilling and they found the water, and people are dancing. This is a little bit after that time when the well opened up, but they are dancing the dance. And I thought it was interesting. I don't always pay a lot of attention to the meaning of different steps in a dance, but I like this diagram because the person who did the choreography in around 1937 wanted a dance that showed water flowing. And you can kind of see, this is a typical grapevine step, where you have a foot goes in front and a foot goes in back and front and back. And with that movement, it kind of looks like the waves of water. And that was the intention. They were kind of diagramming the dance of Mayim, Mayim. And also down here, some of you who know the dance, you're going to see it in a minute. People rush up to the center all together with their arms up, And this is when the water is coming out of the well and kind of that excitement. And then they go back and up again and back. So it's just the excitement and the joy around the water. And in fact, the words of this song are from Isaiah 12:3. With joy, you shall draw water from the springs of salvation. And the lyrics are simple, but they're very beautiful. And we're going to sing it too. So this is the diagram of the song. And now I'm going to get some musical accompaniment very soon so that we can sing the song together. I don't know, I guess I could ask for a show of hands of how many people know the song, but I'm guessing that you do. So please sing with us this beautiful song that's simple, but very joyous. Shafta mayim b'sasur b'manei Yeshua. Shafta mayim b'sasur b'manei Yeshua. Mayim, 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 mayim b'sasur. Mayim, 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 mayim b'sasur. Hey, 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 hey. Mayim, 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 mayim b'sasur. Mayim, 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 mayim b'sasur. So thank you for joining me in that. And the next thing that we're going to do is Ramon is going to show a video. It's kind of part of different dances put together, but of some people dancing the dance. So you can see, hear the music and you can see the motion. So I'm going to stop the screen share right now so he can pick up and show that to you. It's our last piece.
Yes, just a second. There you go.
People.
Great, thank you for showing that. Hope you enjoyed it. I have certainly enjoyed putting together this presentation, and I want to thank you all for being here. I hope you picked up something special from it, and I know I'm looking forward to the rest of the presentations through Selihot and through Yom Kippur. Thanks so much for being here. Ramon?
Yes, thank you so much. Tiskila mitzvot, may we have the potential to perform many more mitzvot as you are teaching here. We learned last night about lilmod ulelamed, to teach and to learn. And Sandy Wool is saying, Roanne, that was wonderful, thank you. And people are really touched by your presentation. I wanted to also say that the words that you were bringing for mayim, ushaftem mayim besason mimaynei Yeshua, from the prophet Isaiah, are the same ones that we recite during the Havdalah, when we're hoping that the Yeshua, the salvation, would come soon, probably after Yom Kippur, perhaps. And I wanted to also say that as we move along during the Selihot season, that we're going to take a little bit of a break as Shabbat arrives, and we're going to come back on Sunday, actually on Saturday night, for the Ashkenazi version of Selihot. Invite you at 8:45 to join Shirat HaNefesh. If you have already, of course, registered for this series, the same link will apply. 8:45 on Saturday night, August 28, when we're going to be bringing two important institutions, the Jewish United for Justice and Ben the Ark, who are going to be talking to us about the important work that they do to bring social and economic equality to this world. And I hope you come for that. And of course, we'll continue after that with the Selihot service all the way until we blow the shofar. And then immediately after that, on Sunday, we continue, of course, with letter, you guessed it, letter Nun. Larry Garber is going to be with us. And we're going to continue yet all the way to Yom Kippur afternoon at 4:15, where we're going to be doing a review of some of the teachings that you are hearing. I want to thank from the bottom of my heart not only my dear wife Roanne, but also to each one of you who have made possible that we were running this Selihot sessions. I hope that they are of interest to you. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom u'mevorach. May you have a Shabbat full of blessing, together with your family, a Shabbat that would remind us that war should end and that health will come back to our realm. Until then, I wish you a Laila Tov, hoping to see you Saturday night, Sunday, and as many times as possible. So if you haven't missed any of the sessions, we are including them on the very publicity that you receive every time. And also we have publicity on Facebook on my own personal page in case that that you missed it and you want to see, or in the case of my case that I want to see them again because they are so interesting. Laila Tov, thank you so much. And thank you, Roanne, again. Beautiful.
Laila Tov.
Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Laila Tov.